Time for part two of Mike Vernon, our full-length sit-down with the recently anointed Hall of Famer, part of that 2023 class. You can find him now, his mug on the wall at the Hall of Fame in Toronto. Reminding you, all our broadcasts do come to you live from the Tower Studios here in Marda Loop. Tower Dodge, Ram, Chrysler. It's Calgary's favorite Chrysler dealer. You can find them at 10901 McLeod Trail South. Let's get started with part two with Mike Vernon.
How did your time come to an end? Because you sort of alluded to it. The early 90s, they were still very good teams, but you had some disappointing first-round exits as a group. And then star players started, okay, there goes, there's a McInnes, Nieuwendyk, Roberts. It was all sort of different time, but suddenly all those pieces of that championship team were gone in the mid-90s.
I knew my days were numbered when Doug Risebrough came in because I was on a contract. My contract was up.
Okay.
And so anybody's contract was up, he got rid of previously. So
pretty good track record.
I kind of knew the writing was on the wall, but he always said, well, I can't trade you your numbers. Well, I think by Christmas I had 20 wins or something like that. I was playing really well. And we were just huge contract dispute. Like,
big gap.
Well, he called a meeting with my agent at 6 a.m. at the Westin Hotel. My agent's at one end, Doug Risebrough's at the other, and I'm in the middle, and they're going at each other. And I just go, Larry, stop. I look over to my right, Doug Risebrough says, listen, you don't want me here? I don't want to be here anymore. Trade me. And I got up and I walked out. He chased me down the hall, Riser. And I just said, no.
And that was a result of the negotiation, probably?
Yeah, I said, there was a lot of F words going back and forth, and then I left. My agent calls me up after. That was awesome. Yeah, really awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. And
you got in your car, you're like, shit.
What did I do now?
What did I just do?
It was interesting. So then I go to the rink, and it's like I'm dragging my butt because I've been up. I played the night before. Yeah. I'm dragging my butt. And the boys are like, Fernie, what the heck's going on? Because I'm pretty jubilant the next day.
And you're up at 5:30 for this meeting.
I'm not a roller coaster. I'm pretty even keeled. And boys are like, what's going on? What's up? He goes, oh, you guys, you won't believe what just happened. I had the biggest FU fight with a general manager I've ever. And they go, no. I said, yes. And they're like, oh my God. So it got to Dave King, and Dave King was the coach at the time. He calls me in. He goes, what's going on? And I said, well, I'm in a contract dispute. And he goes, you go home and get your rest. Because I was playing, and he liked me. I was his guy right now. Mm-hmm. And Dave King went up there, and he says, you can't talk to him anymore, and everything else. And oh yeah, the contract dispute. It was something. And then I get a phone call from Doc Seaman in Hawaii. Don't worry, your contract's going to be done. Okay, thanks, Doc. End of story. Progressed. Did all of that, played the rest of the year. And then I got hurt at the end of the year in playoffs. And then my ankle, I couldn't play. And we lost out to LA or something like that. And then this summer, Doug Risebrough said he wasn't going to trade me. I got married that year. And 4 days before my wedding, Doug Rice announced the trade after the draft with the Red Wings. Scotty Bowman phones me up and goes, oh, I just traded for you. And that, he said, it was the weirdest trade I've ever been part of. I go, what are you talking about? He said, I traded for you 2 weeks ago, but he didn't want me to announce it. Oh. It was really strange. And I'm like, why would he do that? Like, it doesn't matter. It's the summer. It's
just
July.
Right before your wedding. That's when you wanted to do it.
Yeah, it's just whatever. So at my wedding, I just like, it was, then the wedding happened and I was traded. So that morning, my buddy goes out and gets me Red Wing hats. And I got half the Flame organization at my wedding, and I walk out with this, okay? It's just, oh my God. It's so, anyway, it was, crazy times.
Nerve-wracking to get traded, but awkward, seeing as you're a Calgary boy, played almost all your life in Calgary. And
Yeah, but you know what?
It was time.
I played 9 years
Yep.
here, and it was just, they say you're supposed to change your job every 7. That's the real world. But anyway, I welcomed it.
Yeah.
I was under a microscope here, and I just got married. I think that would have been, it was the best thing for our marriage, just to get away from Calgary. And it was just her and I and my dog. And we went to Detroit and we enjoyed it thoroughly. I played 3 years there, and it was great. Great team and great ownership, and lived in a nice little area called Birmingham, and it was awesome. I loved it.
Scotty Bowman stories?
Oh, I got lots of them. I got lots.
So, okay, you're at 94, 95.
Where do you want to start?
Well, start at the beginning. So you get there. How much do you know about Scotty, and where are the Wings at? And from there.
Well, you hear a lot about Scotty Bowman because of the Montreal, the history, and Larry Robertson, and they probably could have won 2 more if it wasn't for Scotty Bowman. I heard that saying. And then I knew that Scotty was in Pittsburgh when Bob Johnson was there. And Scotty came in to relieve Badger, but Badger was still alive. They talked a lot. And everything was in play in Pittsburgh, and then they went on and win and things like that. And I think Scotty looked at that, and he started to change his mentality a bit and how he looked at the game. And he highly regarded Badger Bob.
Yeah.
Because when I went to Detroit, we'd talk about Badger a lot. And he really looked up to Badger. And that was something for Scotty Bowman. And I remember after one of the exhibition games, I said, Scotty, you don't need a goalie, you need a system. and Steve Eiser, Scotty looks at Steve, he goes, what do you think? He says, I think he's right. Because they just won the President's Trophy the year before. They lost to San Jose, that 8th spot. They had a powerhouse team. They have a good
Paul
team,
Coffey,
right?
Sergei Fedorov, Cicerelli, Keith Primo, Ray Shepard, Steve Eiserman, Kozlov, Lidstrom. Like, it's quite a list.
A lot of Hall of Famers there.
It's unbelievable. So we started to implement a bit of a system and things like that. And we just had good years. And the first year went to Stanley Cup playoffs, got knocked out 4 straight by Jersey, who's a very disciplined, good hockey club.
In the final, you're saying?
Yes, in the finals. The next year comes, Osgood was playing the playoffs and stuff like that. We lost, I think it was Colorado we lost to.
You would have lost to Colorado because they beat us in the final that year.
Yeah. And so the third year.
But I have to stop you because that second year that you were in Detroit, didn't they set a record for wins that year?
Something like that. It was crazy.
One of the teams of all
60,
time. And you and a young goalie, Osgood at that point, nice tandem.
But Ozzy was playing most of the games in the first half. I'd get thrown in the odd time. And then it was, and I just work hard, be supportive. And then it was the new year in February. Scotty comes up, he says, you're going to start playing a lot more. Just get yourself ready. And then it was towards the end of February, May. He says, you're my guy. I go, what do you mean? No, I'm going with you. You're my guy. So I said, oh, okay. So I'm his guy in playoffs. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't. I got to, do this. We lose the first game to St. Louis 2-1. I'm going, I'm done. He's not going to put me back in the net. And he put me back into the net. And then we won, and it went whatever. We won the Stanley Cup 16-4, I think. Playoff.
The 1.76 goals against, a 927 save percentage. That was 1997 Conn Smythe Trophy. Yeah. You weren't a young man, but those are the best numbers you put up in any playoff.
Yeah. It was pretty bizarre. I was talk about being in a zone. We played Anaheim, and between Solani and Paul Correa,
Paul
I think
Correa.
the two of them had, like, we went into overtime with those guys, like 2 and 3 extra periods. Oh, it was like we played 7 games.
Yeah.
If you add up all these guys would have 10 shots each. It was crazy. And they were good. They were so good. But we had a good team, and it was, like you said, in the zone, and I was zoned in, and I had lots of energy, well rested. It was awesome. It was one of my prouder moments, I guess, as a player.
Every day on Barn Burner, the Pinder Report is brought to you by Village Honda. Village Honda has new Hondas arriving daily and has a huge pre-owned inventory with over 70 used vehicles on site and access to over 400 more in their dealer group. All makes, all models, all budgets. It's award-winning service, a top-rated team. Village Honda is your dealership for life. Located in the Northwest Auto Mall and online at villagehonda.com.
The Hearing Loss Clinic was opened in 1993 with a simple mission: make a positive difference in the lives of our clients. It's never been about hearing loss or hearing impairment. It's been about empowering you to be socially active or more connected with loved ones and confident in every aspect of your life. Men and women of all ages, and of course children, can suffer from hearing loss too. There can be serious health risks that are linked to untreated hearing loss, and you can get a peace of mind at 4 Calgary locations: Shaughnessy, University District, Northwest in the Crowfoot Business Center, and in the North Hill professional offices. If you've got issues with your hearing, come visit one of their 4 Calgary locations for an evaluation. They're the 2022 Chamber of Commerce Professional Services Excellence Award winner. Visit one of their 3 locations in BC. You can find them in Cranbrook, Creston, Fernie, Golden, and Invermere. Famous people that have swung by the Hearing Loss Clinic: John Huffnagel, Lanny McDonald, Haley Wickenheiser, Peter Marr. It's worked for them, and it can work for you. Check out their social streams on Twitter at The Hearing Loss or on Instagram at The Hearing Loss Clinic.
Conn Smythe, what did that mean? Or was it, screw it, this, you got over the hump with this team?
You know, that was,
I always wondered that.
was
Sorry,
nice.
Is the Conn Smythe nice? Like, but the cup's sitting there and you're like, this is, thank you.
Well,
I don't want to disrespect the fact that this is the Conn Smythe, but
well,
give me that one.
It's funny, but it's that's a bit of the selfish trophy, I call it. But it was, for me, it was, I could still do it.
Yeah.
I could still play in the NHL. I can still achieve this. So that was kind of that for me. And it was nice. But in saying all those trophies, I think I'm more well known for the fight with Patrick Waugh.
Yeah, for sure.
Because people bring that up all the time. Do you know that I won 2 cups? What? No, Dad, him? No.
So
that Patrick Waugh fight.
where was that rivalry when you showed up in Detroit? And I believe it was the day you got your 300th win was when you scrapped them. Like, that was an incredible night.
I didn't even realize that until later.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, that was one of my worst games I played.
Really?
Well, I let in like 5 goals in two periods, and I was awful. And the boys in the third period, after the fight and everything else, I was fatigued because fighting for 20 seconds, I was so done. I don't know how these guys do it for a living, because it's ridiculous, right?
All that gear.
The boys
Can't compare it to anything.
Yeah, it's so. Anyway, that was done, and then I'm in the dressing room. I'm on my stool. I'm taking my stuff off. Ozzy comes in and goes, "You got to go back on the ice." I said, I left the crease. I got in a fight. I have to be thrown out of the game. No, you're not. He goes, you're on the ice. So I get back out there. I step on the ice, and the crowd goes crazy. They're going crazy, and it's like, what's going on here? So I get into the net. I don't even think they had another shot on net.
Really?
And the guys just took it over, and they won the game for me. It was unreal. And then that was after I found out it was the 300th victory and the fight with Patrick. So that is a very memorable game now for me.
Well, so there's a lot of stuff that comes full circle. You get to the final in 86. It's Patrick, the rookie in Montreal at that point. And then it's that incredible rivalry when you're in Detroit and he's in Colorado. And Trevor Kidd chased you from 2 different jobs as well. If you can walk us through that as well, which was like almost a decade apart, I want to say.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the one in Florida, he was hurt and they brought me in.
Okay.
And I don't know if he ever really came back after that injury.
Pretty much done.
And he was drafted here. When
he was
shipped you
drafted
out.
here, and he was very highly touted and everything like that. And they just handed him here you go, kid. Here's the job.
Yeah.
I was just kind of shocked, but it's whatever.
The way the game goes. Yeah.
I was happy to go to Detroit. Move on.
Not to dwell on sad stories, but you win that cup, and is that not the accident is days afterwards?
So it's you're at such a high, and we're at a golf, just the group of us, only the players, and we do the right thing in taking limos and go do this and enjoy the day. And a couple of the Russian players, Fetisov and Manatsakonov, the masseuse, and Connie. And it's they don't like golf. Right. So they said, can we go? Yeah, we'll see you at dinner tonight. Take a limo and leave. And then we finished the rest of the 9 holes and we're just about to get into the limo. We're leaving the restaurant and Stevie gets a call and sits us all down and tells us. And it just, everything ended.
Killed it all.
Yeah. So it just, and all we could think about was the boys. So it was a tough thing. I saw Connie this November at our 25th anniversary, and he's doing well. He knows who I am, and he's actually doing quite well. His daughter was there and things, and it was just great. The Red Wings have taken care of him. He's so loved in Hockey Town. It's unreal. So he's doing quite well. And
loved and respected all around the game. I mean, he was one of those guys that you just were cringing to have to play against.
He was only 170 pounds, 80 pounds. And he used to run Lindros like there was no tomorrow. Anybody. He was fearless. And he never said a word. He was very quiet. Just, hey, Vernie. He was just did his job, and everything was just he was unbelievable player. So I'm trying to use my memory to do this, but the next year you win as well. So then I get traded because again, my contract.
Guy wins the Conn Smythe, they ship him out of town.
So I said to Kenny Holland, I says, well, you guys said if I delivered, you would pay me. We're not willing to pay you, Mike. You're not willing to pay me. All right. Well, let me shop myself around. Okay, you can. So my agent and I shopped this around.
Did you tell Kenny to F off too? Or just
no.
kept it to one
Kenny, you know what? Kenny and I are good friends, but it comes from a higher echelon. You know that, and I know that. So I wasn't going to crucify him over it, but and that was fine.
Had to be somewhat surprising, though.
You had Osgood.
Was there
They've had Osgood since day one, and they thought I was going to take Ozzy's number 30 because I was 30. I'm going, no, Chris, that's your number. I'll take 29. I'm fine with that. And Chris and I have a very good rapport, even to this day. So, no, I'm happy they were giving the reins to him. He deserved it too. He did his time in the minors. He's played a few years in the National Hockey League and things like that. And obviously, salaries, they had big payrolls. They had big players they wanted to keep.
Big.
Yeah, and I wasn't big. So they get rid of the little guy. So I got to negotiate a deal with San Jose.
Why did you choose there, or did it come out of nowhere, or did you have it
it just at the end of the year
organically found it? Yeah.
That's what, and my agent was working the phone, and surprisingly, we beat Philly 4 straight, and with all the goalie trouble they had there, they weren't even interested. And that is
shocked. Actually an
interesting
take on it, because yes, they're a great team, but they couldn't get goaltending, and
so then I go back in history when I back in early 85, was it, when Pele Lindbergh passed? Philly phoned Cliff. We want Vernon. Cliff wouldn't trade me. It was just, and then I just kind of reflect back on this. You were interested once, no more, and I just beat you 4 straight.
Yeah.
But anyway, it worked out well. I went to San Jose. I loved it there and went on.
Who's running things there? Who's coaching? I'm trying to remember. Was Daryl coaching?
Big D.
Big D was coaching by then?
Daryl was coaching then.
So
I think he drank probably 5 or 6 pots of coffee every day.
Jeez,
It was
really?
just vibrating.
Yeah.
Like it was something. But no, it was good. We had good teams there, and we built good teams there. And Dean Lombardi was the general manager. And
Good spot to play.
I was disappointed to get traded out of there. That came about because Daryl, very similar, 3 years later, comes up to me and goes, Steve Shields was the other goal, and he was playing a lot and good. But the second part of the year, Daryl's like, you're going to start playing more, and you're my guy. And I'm like, okay, good. I feel good. Same feeling I had with the Red Wings. I'm like liking this. And I'm in St. Louis. We're in St. Louis, and I'm supposed to play. And I get traded. And I know I'm getting traded because they called and asked and all that stuff now. So Daryl comes and knocks on the door, my hotel room, and goes, I guess you know why I'm here. I says, I have an idea. He says, can I come in? I says, sure. Sits down. He goes, I can't believe he's trading you. We're going into playoffs with a rookie goaltender. That's not good. Anyway, I just said,
And it was Shieldsy?
Yeah, Shields. And then he played that year and never played again. So I said to Daryl, I said, you know what? I'm surprised too. I was hoping to stay. I was hoping that this wasn't going to happen because I had a really good feeling like I did with the Red Wings. And
They had a good team.
We had a great team. And then also Dean traded Ragnarsson to Philly, and he was a solid defenseman too. Really solid defenseman. And years after, run into Dean Lombardi when he was in LA with Daryl. I ran into him in Phoenix at a hotel bar that they were staying in. I was there. And so we were talking, and Dean Lombardi said, my biggest regret was trading you 2 guys that year. I shouldn't have done that because we had a good team. And yeah, it's funny how this game
Do you
goes.
even know what the return was? Like,
It was, who was that guy? It was the guy from the Rangers. There was a 3-way trade. Guy from the Rangers came over.
Florida.
He was like a 3rd-line player.
It's time to discover or rediscover the legendary St. Eugene Golf Resort and Casino. Planning a golf trip, a romantic getaway, or maybe just some tranquility away from the city, St. Eugene is the answer. Hotel, championship golf course, casino, spa, restaurants, all of it nestled in the spectacular Rocky Mountains and just minutes outside of Cranbrook, BC. Visit their website, steugene.ca, and experience the history and heritage of the St. Eugene Golf Resort and Casino.
The original Bon Ton Meat Market opened its doors way back in 1921, and all they've done since then is provide the highest quality product and treat customers like family. The very best AAA Alberta beef, free-range poultry, grain-fed Alberta lamb, milk-fed veal, and fresh Alberta pork. Once again, Bon Ton was voted the Calgary Consumer Choice Award winner for Best Deli Meat Market. Find them at 28 Crowfoot Circle Northwest or go to bontonmeatmarket.com.
You went to Florida. What was it like there? And you guys must have just missed. Is that right?
He went the year after I got traded out of there. Yeah.
Oh, Florida, they had a good team.
Beret?
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, and Terry Murray was the coach.
Yeah.
I remember. Oh,
Radek
my God.
Dvorak. There it is. Sorry.
Okay, guys, we got to play this way. Pav's going to play that way.
Oh,
but we got to play this way. And we're like, going, what? And I remember, who was it? Oh, it was like Len Berry. Pav, if you just come inside the red line, I think we might have a chance of winning this game. Oh, okay, Pav, maybe the blue line. Come inside our blue line. Oh, it was funny. We had a pretty good team.
Pete Worrell, Paul Laus was there.
Oh yeah, we had a tough team.
Yeah.
Lauser. Oh yeah.
Brett
Pete
talks about
Worrell.
Laus all the time. It's one of those names where if you've listened to the show, you'd know him, but if you
Oh,
listen to the same show in a different city, you wouldn't, just because you had so much respect for him.
oh, he was one tough boy
Yeah.
and solid. Just
Love to fight.
Yeah. and so did Pete.
Yeah, Big Pete. Still down there. My kids, we did the NHL alumni versus the Panthers alumni, and we happened to be there. I haven't
It
played
was
a hockey-
All-Star Week, right?
Yeah, I haven't played a hockey game in 8 years. So anyway, I go down there, decide to suit up. Was Tinkler around when you
Yeah,
were?
Tinkler was there.
Tink
Oh,
had
yeah.
us all set up. My kids had seen Pete chase me around when I was playing in Buffalo, and they saw Pete at the game. They're like, holy dad, is he big? I'm like, yeah, that's why I was trying to hide.
Yeah. And we lost to Jersey that first round.
One of the few, like we went to the playoffs in Florida, 95, 96, 96, 97. And then you guys went in 2000. And then it was like lights out forever.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough. They I think Brian Murray left and they were starting the changes. The ownership change.
Heisinger, yeah.
So
It was Radek Dvorak.
no, there's a third player. So who was the guy from the Rangers?
I really
was
got
him,
him.
but-
Dvorak went to the Rangers.
Yeah.
And then
Third
the guy-
round pick as
But it was
well.
another guy that there was three of us that we just
Okay.
did the rotation. Little guy,
Um,
not a big guy.
Sean O'Connor,
No.
third rounder at Dvorak. Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then you
there you
end
go.
up back here.
I was going to say that.
Oh,
There's
how
the
did
full
I end
circle.
up here? Well, again, my contract, and we're negotiating with Brian Murray, and everything's, I'm assuming, going really well. And then the next thing I know, you get traded to Minnesota. I go, what? I phone my agent. I get traded to Minnesota. Doug Risebrow's in Minnesota. There is no way in hell I'm playing there.
Zero chance.
Like this, there's something up. I go, Larry, find out what's going on. And the next thing you know, I get traded to Calgary.
Oh.
And Craig Button was here. So anyway, I come back to Calgary.
Full
for
circle.
2 years. And then I pack it in.
And it was time to pack it in. The body
yeah.
knew, the mind knew,
everything.
There
I
was
just-
not a
you just
confusing.
know.
It was just like, oh,
No,
boy.
I knew it was time to it was tough coming back here and playing. The team was in shambles still a bit.
Yep.
Before
Don
Rhett
Hay
saved
was-
the franchise.
Don Hay was the new coach and rookie general manager, and nothing against those guys, but it was a tough scenario. And and then it was my
Was
mother.
Theo still here when you came back?
No,
He was
no,
gone.
He was
I
gone.
feel like it was 98-ish. He would have been
Yeah.
gone. You
Everybody,
would have seen
everybody was gone.
But Clark Bloom was
Jerome.
here.
Jerome was here.
Jerome's 51, 52 goal season you would have seen.
Yes.
In Detroit, I think he scored that one.
Yeah.
The big one.
I was here with Jerome. Yeah.
Can you talk about, because that happened at a time that wasn't supposed to happen. I think the next high scoring guy was like 37 goals or 41. Like he lapped the field that year in goals, and it was not a deep team. This was not
No.
playing with stars. Jerome was in beast mode.
Yeah. We didn't have a great team, but we still weren't bad, but we
You weren't
had
very
a,
good either.
yeah, I know, but we had a pretty decent power play.
Yeah.
And Jerome got a lot of his points on the power play, but he's a good, solid player, like he always was.
Savard, Val Bure.
And Savvy always set him up. Like Savvy was a good centerman. Like he
Yeah.
talented.
To get nothing for him.
The great
just set
Savvy
them back.
story, when I get traded here, he's at the other end of the dressing room. I'm in the far corner. He goes, Mike, looking at your stats, you've let in 2,000 goals. That's a lot of goals. I'm like, oh God, Savvy, shut up.
Shut up.
And to be fair, that was 21 years after you got drafted when you called it quits. That's incredible.
I just laughed when I just like, oh, for the love of God. Yeah, he's a funny kid too.
You're doing well as a coach right now.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to ask you, it's kind of topical only because they're talking about another new rink. You go from the corral
Oh,
into the Saddle Dome. Was it like,
that was
Yeah.
heaven.
yeah.
It was like one of the nicest rinks in the league.
Yeah.
right? At that time.
21,000 back in the
Yeah,
day.
and we'd fill it. And it was awesome, right? And then it just wore itself out, right? It's just, I guess it doesn't happen when it doesn't help when you have a flood and there's water to about the 13th or 14th floor, you know.
Yeah, 13 rows of seats were underwater for that flood in 2013.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think we were all looked a lot better 40 years ago. Like the Saddle Dome's just like us, right?
Maybe.
Well, they quietly tore down the corral, and I think it was over COVID because me and a couple of buddies would do these long walks, and I was walking and they were tearing the thing down, and I was kind of sad because I had a lot of memories in that building too. So
the Hitmen went in and played a series of games in there that last year the crowd was open, and they wore all the old jerseys, the Wranglers jerseys, the Calgary Cowboys, amongst others. And so it got a bit of a send off, but I mean, it was a very unique building. What would it hold? 7,000 for NHL? And the boards, like both benches on opposite sides of the ice. There's some weird stuff at that rink.
Well, the boards were high and they were in concrete.
Yeah. And the glass was low.
Like it was ridiculous.
Concrete was up to here on the boards. Like as high as the.
Oh, yeah. And guys with separated shoulders all the time.
Oh.
Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
And the opposition team didn't like going into the corners too often.
That's fair. Some of those teams, I get it.
New GM of the Calgary Flames also got traded to the organization that year. Do you remember Craig Conroy coming in on the Flames?
Oh, yeah.
That's pertinent.
Connie. Oh, yeah. Like they were, they still a good team. Freddie Brathwaite was the other goalie. He was hilarious.
Yeah.
People love Freddie.
Oh, yeah. Freddie was
I had a lot of insight to that team because my good friend Clark Wilm was there, Jason Weimer. So I was always being kept abreast of what you idiots were up to. So.
Yeah. It was quite funny. Yeah, there was a funny story of Freddie Brathwaite and I. And after a game we lost, I played and I wasn't too excited, but we go down to, I don't know, it was Rodney's now, but it was, I don't know what it was called, some bar there on 10th.
The Drink or something like that.
Or something.
Mansion.
So we just went there and had a couple of drinks, and I wasn't really in the mood, so I just took off and went home, and some of the boys proceeded to go out, and I get a phone call the next morning. Yeah, come on in. We want to talk to you. The general manager, or assistant general manager, I think it was at the time. Anyway, so I go in and go to the office. What's going on? He says, "Oh, I heard you were seen at the Hells Angels house." I go, "Pardon?" Yeah, we the cops have reported. They phoned us and told us they saw you there. I'm like, "Really?" I says, "Well, I wasn't there. I went to the drink and I went home." But anyway, if that's what you think I did, then I guess I did that. But I didn't do that. So if this shit's going to start again up, because that's what I left kind of in the other time, as things like that were happening. So I just got up and I just walked out. And then I sat down in my stall, and Freddie's stall's right next to me. And he comes and says, "Hey, Vernie, how you doing?" I'm like, "What's wrong, Vernie?" I says, I don't know, Freddie. I says, "I just got called up into the management office and they're accusing me of being at the Hells Angels hangout last night." He goes, "I didn't see you there." And I go, "What?"
Look at the wrong goal.
They mistaken me and you. What?
You need better detectives, guys.
I go, "Oh my God." These guys, they better get their eyes checked. Oh, we howled over that. That was a good one.
He loved to laugh too. Freddie loved to have fun.
He was great.
Outdoor Dental. Dentistry with no needles, no drills, and no stress. Dr. Jay Patel decided a few years ago that it was time to change the dental experience for his patients. Introducing the Solea Laser. This laser treatment is pain-free, will leave you feeling relaxed and comfortable. In addition, the laser is used to treat sleep apnea by increasing the tension of the soft palate to reduce snoring. In just 2 15-minute treatments, you could be getting the amount and quality of sleep that you've been missing out on. Visit their website for more information and to book a consultation, outdoor.dental. That website again, outdoor.dental. The word is out. Mad Rose Pub in Royal Oak has become one of Calgary's best pubs, and it's no secret why. 20 beers on tap, kid-friendly Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, daily specials, lunch specials, some of the best food you're going to find in the city, period. Burgers, pastas, steaks, full entrees, and proud to serve one of the best and most talked about pizzas in Calgary. Summer's here. Come enjoy the brand new patio. Check out their website. Maybe order some takeout. Madrose.pub is the website. 15 Royal Vista Place is the address. It's Mad Rose Pub.
So you're really involved with the alumni now. You mentioned 11 guys from that Cup team. You also got a bunch of the 04 crew that Rhett's a part of, and some other guys sprinkled in, guys from other teams. What does that mean to you to be involved with the alumni, and maybe just highlight what it's like, that camaraderie when you're done playing?
One, I'm not a big part of it.
Okay.
Because there's other guys that do a lot of work in it, like Dana Merzen over the years, Colin Patterson, Otto, Lanny, all these guys have. We've passed the torch on to Rhett Warner, or not Rhett. We passed it on to Robert Regier and Mike Commodore now, and they've done a great job. And it's just a great tournament. It's like family out there. You know all the groups pretty much, and the same groups keep coming back, and I'm getting a sense that there's more people wanting to show up to this now. So I'm going to have to pound the pavement more and get a few more guys out there. But it's a great tournament, great causes. You tee off at 9, you're at home by 6, 5 or 6.
The other thing, it's good. People want to go now because we've broken the weather contract. Because for a few years there, it was relentlessly snowing and raining and cold and miserable. And I remember the one year, I think we hit a tee shot and went right back to the clubhouse. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
That's enough.
So it's and it's at Prentice, and Johnny Wilson does a great job out there, and it's a great golf course. It's a great afternoon, and great sponsors, great people.
What's keeping you busy?
A lot of different things.
Yeah, kids are starting to get older.
National
and
Neon, a sign company. I work there, so anybody that needs signage, phone me up.
Room in here.
Yeah. Anyway, I do that, and I do a few other little projects. I have my development out in Painted Ridge. .ca out in the Kootenays, or out in the East Kootenays on Columbia Lake.
Kind of by Canal Flats, is that right?
Yeah. We got some lots for sale. If any of you guys like that area, and come on out, it's quite lovely.
And I ran into you a couple of weekends ago, and you were like kid free, you and your wife. And you looked at each other and you're like, we have no kids with us. Like,
we were getting a kick out of you. You and your brother-in-law, and they got 6 kids over there. They're playing baseball, and that's just, my wife and I looked over. Remember those days? Yeah. Do we miss them? Yeah, you do, because it was fun. Our kids, we had a riot, but it was just, we just kicked back and had a glass of wine and laughed at you guys.
Has it been an adjustment? You go through the ringer, you're playing hockey, you're raising kids, and blah, blah. All of a sudden they're starting to move on, and you're looking like, I know my brother's kids are both going to be out of the house come fall. Wow. And there's going to be an empty nest, and it's like,
what do we do now?
Wait, what?
Well, my wife has a design company. She does a lot of building and things like that. She started it a bunch of years ago, and she seems to be very busy with it. Yeah. And I'm a little busy, and it's golf season, so it works out well. I got the 3 boys home for the summer right now, which is good, and hopefully we'll get out and play a little golf. But they're working, and it's tough to drag them and come on, let's go up to the cabin. But we'll get up there for a few weekends and things like that.
Do you I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Recognize and relish knowing that those times might be coming less and less spent together. Do you know what I mean?
Well, none of my kids are in a hurry to get married.
There's no
grandkids going to be coming soon. That's for sure, much to my wife's chagrin. But it's just a circle of life right now. We're enjoying the time, and our kids are moving on. I had one just graduate from Colorado College this year.
A goalie, no less.
The goalie, yeah. And we're hoping to get him in the pro ranks somewhere, playing hockey next year. He'd love to go play and give it a couple.
We'll call Risebrow.
What's that?
Call Risebrow, see if you can get.
Yeah, he's
got to be working somewhere. Right?
thank goodness he's no longer in the game. And then we'll just see what happens from there. And then the other two boys are at Dalhousie and going to school, so
Life
it's
is
all
good.
good. And
Life is
they're
good.
it's just. And my daughter's in Toronto. She's been launched for about 3 or 4 years and doing well, and so it's all good. We're looking forward to Stampede Week.
Very good.
We got a big group coming. My daughter comes in with a bunch of her friends and Matt and his girlfriend, and we got a big crew coming in for this.
Just
Stampede.
need the circus
So
tent.
It'll
Eh?
be good.
I'm a very big promoter around North America about the Stampede. I tell people all the time, and my kids' friends, you got to experience this just once. It's the funnest time you'll ever have.
Last one from me. Just looking back, we talked about a lot. It's been a lot of hometown, a lot of other major markets, 2 cups. Like, what do you look back and relish, or you're really proud of, or something you're like, if people want to remember one thing, I'd love to remember that.
Wow. One thing?
It's hard to pick one.
It is hard.
Well, you
to
got
pick.
2 cups, so maybe I give you
long
Yeah,
time
no,
in the Stanley
it's hard to
Cups
pick
and-
one. You know what? I'm just proud of my career. I'm a small guy. I probably, a knock here or there, but I hope to think that I was a competitor, and I played 18 years in the National Hockey League. My career, I'm happy with it, and I hope people are
Respectfully,
and respectful of it
Yeah.
too. And it wasn't easy. It never is
Yeah.
to play in this crazy game. It takes a lot, mental fortitude and thick skin and a lot of determination. So I'm proud of my career.
I'm looking at the all-time wins list, Rhett. It goes Dominic Hasek at 15, who might be the best goalie of all time. Mike Vernon at 16. Jonathan Quick at 17. I mean, your wins total 16th all time. That is impeccable.
That's good. I like that. I'm glad I'm just in that group.
That's good company.
I'm glad I'm in the top 100.
Yeah.
I've played against a lot of good goaltenders. Grant Freer my whole life. To this day, I think Grant was probably the best goalie that played. Unfortunately, I never got to see Glenn Hall.
Yeah. Okay.
I've heard, and he was my goalie coach for 9 years and never came on the ice once with me.
Really?
Okay. It was all up here,
Huh.
the talking and things like that. But Grant Freer was probably the best goalie that I think he's the top dog. I know Hasek, he was a great goaltender too, but Grant had done a lot of great things, and he was phenomenal. I played against him in junior and watched him, and I learned a lot from him, but he was a great one.
What are you hoping Craig Conroy does with this squad this year?
I think he's got a good mind for the game, and I think that he kind of knows what the strengths and weaknesses of the team are right now. And I think he'll look forward to the draft, and I think that I think you'll see him start building up the middle of the ice. A lot of teams, they look at the middle of the ice and they start building from there. I can always turn a centerman into a winger, but I can't turn a winger into a centerman. So I think that he'll probably take his time and really, do his homework. But right now he's got to get the right coach for the team. And I think he has an idea what he wants. And he just going to probably interview a bunch of them and go from there. But he has his opinions and things like that. And I'm sure he's got the green light to do whatever he wants. So I'm looking forward to watching and
criticizing and applauding.
Yeah, well, you know
beer
what?
and observing.
Connie's got thick skin, so he's, you're always doing things for a reason, and the public might not understand that. They might not understand the salary caps. They might not understand what he has in the minors that is coming up. So there's a lot of jostling that goes on. you know, realistically, I don't know if his wife's going to be excited because they don't have a lot of downtime in the summer.
That's cool.
Like you'd be lucky to get a 2-week vacation in the summer.
Oh, I think
And
that'd be a lot.
it's a tough position. And hopefully he just surrounds himself with some good people that he can bounce stuff off of and make his decision. That's Cliff Fletcher was a master at that. He had Al McNeil in there. He always had guys that he could talk to, and then he would go and make his own decisions and things like that. But no, he's a level-headed guy. He's not. I don't think he'll do things emotionally or anything like that. He'll think it through.
Betway bet of the daytime, guys. It's Pinder here, and I'm looking again at NFL futures where, Patty Mahomes, of course, is going to be a favorite to have the highest total of passing yards in the NFL this season. But I'm looking for a little more value. How about down at 10-1, Josh Allen, the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills? They're airing it out. That's an offense built around passing the ball. 10-1 for Josh Allen to win the passing yardage title. I like that one. That's my Betway bet of the day. Make sure you get the app. Play responsibly. Bet the responsible way. Betway.
Thanks for your time. It's been really fun. I love running into you, and it's just like it's some Calgary royalty. The fact that so much of your life's been here,
100% is.
and to look at what you achieved even after an incredible decade in Calgary, like amazing career.
Well, thanks. It was fun. You know, it's something that I can always reflect back on and makes me smile. But it's funny, my kids don't know a lot about the past because they were too young or weren't born at the time.
Yeah.
So when we were over the COVID, my wife taught us to play that Mahjong game.
Oh, yeah.
So we'd have dinners and I had all the kids home, but they'd always have the reruns on. So I'd always have the TV with the reruns on. We're playing Maj, and we're always looking up. And they, oh my God, Dad, your equipment, it was awful. Come on, guys, are slow. There's no advertising on the boards. It's like, what is going on? So it was good fun.
Thanks.
Appreciate you, Mike.
Anytime,
and I think I speak for everyone. The whole city appreciates you. You've been an ambassador to the game and to the town. So.
Well, we can always do more, but thanks.